Hey, what is up, you sexy beast? GhostSickness, Tristan here, and I am bringing you just the commentary version of what happened after my date, this kind of second half that you guys wanted ever so much. So, in less than 12 hours, we received 200 likes, and now we're at 275. I cannot even fathom the amount of support you guys have shown me, and thank you all so much for that. But I'm actually going to continue right where I left off, and you haven't seen the first video. It's a outdoor vlog. I know I actually went outside. It was kind of strange out there. There were like people and like animals and stuff. I don't know, only things that you hear about online. So I'm going to continue right where I left off and not give you any information about what happened the day before. So I get the text and I look at it, and it literally says, hey, don't tell anyone at work about that date. Ironically, I'm talking to you guys about it, but who fucking cares? And so she's like, you don't tell anyone about at work, don't tell anyone about that date because, you know, how rumor spreads and everything like that. I'm just like, okay, like that's the very first thing you said to me. You didn't even say, you know, like, oh, I enjoyed it, thank you for taking me, or whatever, anything like that. Nothing about the actual date itself, just don't fucking tell anyone. I'm just like, okay. And I kind of just dispass this because we work at the same place and her mom works there too. It's just kind of like, well, shouldn't really be talking because like you shouldn't date other employees, but I was not really a crew trainer at the time, so it was permissible, but rumor does spread and stuff like that, and so I get that aspect of it. So I didn't want to think too heavily about it, like, oh my god, she just she just is ashamed to have gone on a date with me. No, that's not it, but it was just because, you know, her mom, I imagine, had told her, you know, like, rumor spreads and everything, and she didn't want everyone to be talking about it or us. So that was a thing, and I was like, okay, well, I texted back a little bit later, and we're carrying out a conversation, but very, very slowly, very, very, you know, there were a lot of response times between her and I started responding slowly as well, just because it's like, well, you know, what the fuck, and I talked to her, and she just, you know, started putting a lot less effort into the actual conversation than she was before the actual date and everything, and just kind of seeming very, very bored with me and just kind of uninterested. And just like, okay, well, did you want to continue our question game? Because that's how you keep a conversation going with women, is you continue, or you do a question game where you guys ask questions, and then, you know, she asks a question back, and you guys answer and ask. And it's really, really interesting to actually just keep texting if you guys can't talk on the phone all the time or actually hang out. So I was like, hey, do you want to continue playing the game? She's like, yeah, sure. I'm just like, all right, well, you start. She's like, okay. And then she's like, and then I like reply, I'm like, you got this. And she's just like, I don't know what to ask, smiley face. I'm just like, well, okay, then I'll ask. I'm like, do you want to go on a second date? She's like, yeah, for sure. And so, and then we texted just a tiny, tiny bit more. And then my last text of the night, well, because she didn't reply to it, was, or no, she did. It was, so dinner next time. And then she's just like, I don't know. And just like, what the fuck? Like, if you wanted to go on a second, well, you said, you agreed. I don't know if she really wanted to, but she agreed to go on a second date. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Well, let's see where she wants to go, you know, because I enjoyed the date personally. I asked her, you know, we kind of talked about how it went and everything. And I told her I didn't want to be moving too fast or anything, which I'll get into a little bit later. And so keep in mind, this is Thursday. And she's like, no, you were fine. Everything was good. But, oh, man, this commentary is just going to, it's just evoke some things with me that just make me kind of pissed about both myself and just kind of how this all kind of transferred and, you know, foiled out and everything. So, we're still texting. Everything's okay. And she doesn't agree to go to dinner. And I'm just like, well, what would you like to go to then? Nothing. And so, you know, halfway through the next day, I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm like, you know, has she replied? Has she not? No. And so I just texted her. I tried to continue the conversation like regular, but I kind of wanted to ask about, you know, why not dinner and everything. And so texting her, and then I just kind of stop. And then I'm texting her a little bit later texting her through Friday. We texted a little bit, nothing too important. And then it came to Saturday. And Saturday, kind of the texting through Friday was very, very short. I'm probably talking 10 texts between her and I. It's just kind of like, whatever. So on Saturday afternoon / middle of the day, 6, I don't even know. It's just, the time frame doesn't really matter, but it was about 6 p.m. And I hadn't been texting her all day or anything. We hadn't really had contact at all that day and didn't have work or anything, so that was pretty cool. But I texted her and I was like, hey, quick question. She's like, sure, what's up? And I'm just like, are are you looking for a relationship? She's like, I don't know about that yet. And so I'm just kind of like, And I said the worst possible thing I could have said. Something that you should never, ever say. But I kind of said it because I'll get into that. I'll get into why I said it and, why I kind of made these snide comments at her. Not snide comments, but just kind of these stupid things that I really shouldn't have said, but, still did anyway. And I literally said, because I don't want to waste my time. And she's like, well, then simply don't. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck's that supposed to mean? And I'm just like, look, I enjoyed our date, and I want to go on another one, but I'm just curious if you if we'll ever have like something, like if you ever are looking to actually date me specifically. And she's like, she basically kind of flipped out, and it makes sense because I said some stupid shit. And that was the stupid shit I said. I'm not really leaving anything out. And she's just like, look, dude, you're trying to move way too fast. And now I'm not really, when you mess up, just mess up even more, and it covers it up. So she's like, look, I'm not, that makes me not want a relationship. And it's just like, oh, dude, that fucking hurt, because it's just no. So I'm just like, trying to move too fast. You're adorable. And I'll get into why that is fucked up. Why, she's like, look, I just want to be friends after you said that, pretty much, because she was just like, oh my God, all he wants to do is date, and he just wants to date right now. And so I just want to be friends. And it was like, oh motherfucker, I fucked it up. But I'll get into why I didn't really believe I fucked it up. I'm just like, trying to move too fast. You're adorable. She's like, basically, she's like, oh my God. She's like, yeah, you were, bye, kid. And I'm just like, oh my God, that is this. Oh, and that's pretty much where it left off. But I saw her at work the next day, the next morning, just a little bit briefly. And I walked by her and I was like, hey, I'm not mad at you, by the way. She's like, okay. And I was just like, shut the fuck up. Like, oh my God. One, I shouldn't have said that. And two, like, just at least give me the common decency of letting me know what you fucking think. Like, that's always helpful to know what people think, and that's why I'm so blunt and upfront about things and just wanted an answer, because I noticed she had been very, very strange after the date, and being very, very aloof and just kind of away and not really seeming as interested in me as before the date, ironically, right? You think it'd be a little bit more interested, but I really want to take her word for it that she just wasn't interested, or not completely sure if she wanted a relationship. And I really shouldn't have tried to, rush things, or really get an answer out of her, stupid shit like that. Because if someone's not looking for a relationship, nothing you say or do is going to change that. And so, that's why I kind of dismissed it as, oh, there's no way I messed anything up, because she wasn't even looking for a relationship to begin with. That's why I didn't want to take the blame, but I didn't want to blame it on her completely, because, hey, if she's not looking for a relationship, that's not my fault. It's not her fault. And so I didn't want to overthink that aspect of it, but ironically, I'm sitting here right now, and I already thought about this so much. It's just so fucking ridiculous, because this was last Saturday, and I'm dumb when it comes to certain things. Bluntness is only good, I imagine, in a relationship or in a friendship or whatever, because it can be bad sometimes, and sometimes when it can be bad is just confessing your feelings to a girl who's not really sure if she likes you or not, because then she can be like, oh my God, I already have him, and kind of not interested in him. So think about things that you don't have. Think about things that you want, like a Lamborghini and shit you can't have right now. It's very, very torturous to know that you can't have it. And, it makes you want to work towards things harder and just kind of, achieve them, actually. But, if you're just handed something, it's not nearly as valuable as actually earning it yourself. And so I think that's part of the turnoff, is all I did was just, after the very first date, I started she was acting a little bit weird, and so I kind of wanted to ask her about it. But the problem was, I don't want to waste my time, and then the asking if, she would date me specifically, because, she'd been thinking about it, right? And that makes a lot of sense, and I just wanted to take that answer with no kind of interpreted meaning, just how it was, and because when I said that, she wasn't sure, and so she felt like I was rushing things in that aspect. Now, physically, during the actual date, I took things slow, but I wasn't sure how long I was going to wait to ask her out, or how long I was going to do this shit, because I was like, oh my God, originally thinking if the first date went well, I should ask her out, because the weird thing is, and the main problem is is that in a relationship, right? In a relationship, I'm fine. I'm not, clingy or desperate. I'll get into that in a second. But, I won't text you multiple times. I won't be like, hello, text me back. But, I'll just kind of sit there and I'll check my phone. And if, they don't text back, I'll be like, kind of disgruntled about it. Because, it's just kind of like, oh, man, I don't know. It's only when I'm not in a relationship, though, that's the problem. Is because, you're still working towards it. And my main problem was kind of why I said that is I get this feeling that if there's kind of a change of pace or something that's uncertain, something that I don't know, I feel like it's just lost. I feel like it's completely gone immediately. And, that's why in the last video, if you watched the last video, link in the description below, when she was like, when she was talking about, man, I'm trying to think about this here. Okay, so like I talked about in the last video, when I originally asked her for coffee, she said no, and I'm just like, oh god, no, that's a rejection. She's never wanting to date me or anything, and because she didn't tell me she was busy. I really appreciate when people are blunt with me, but I shouldn't just immediately assume the worst of people, even though originally, when I meet like attractive girls or anything, I do the stupid idea of giving them respect, like just asserting their respect right off the bat. It's like, oh my god, this person can't be that horrible because they're at least talking to me and they are attractive, and I give them that respect, and it's really, really stupid because respect should be earned, and it has to be earned with guy people and girls I'm in a platonic friendship with and everything like that. And so the fact that I do that in general is just kind of stupid, and that's why immediately I'm just like, oh my god, she said no, like just oh my god. And so I'll text, like when I texted her that second time before the actual date, I was kind of like, basically, I had already thought everything was lost. And that was the stupidness of it. And she basically told me that was a stupid kind of thing. Because I was like, oh, I know there's nothing between us. And because you rejected me. She's like, rejected you? I'm just like, oh, motherfucker. God damn it. Because I always assume the worst. I don't know why. When it comes to certain things that I don't know. For certain things, I automatically assume the worst. And I really shouldn't think that way. Because it's not always that way. And that's the ridiculous part about it. If a girl says no the first time, that does not mean, for a date. Like, it's different when you're asking someone out, like, just to be your girlfriend or whatever. But if a girl says no to a date the first time, that doesn't necessarily mean to, that she just rejected you and you should give up everything. Because I basically stopped texting her after that. And I was like, oh, well, she obviously doesn't have feelings for me or anything. But I was conflicted because I was like, well, she had been texting me this entire time. Seeming interested and replying to every text and everything like that. It was all good and kosher. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why a no to this when you're all, flirty and shit like that? And this is why this is something I need to work on. I need to not be so desperate. And here's why I am desperate. And here's where I went wrong. One, the very first thing was thinking everything was lost after she said no to coffee the very first time. And then the second thing was making sure that, I had her, because this is the very first time, you guys need to understand this, that I've actually been on a date outside of a relationship. I've never really, just like went to the movies with some girl I was interested in, as not completely friends, right? And so it was very, very new to me, and I was like, oh my god, I need to, get on this. I need to ask her out before some other guy does, because, shit like that's happened where you're just kind of like, no, I'll get her number later, and then she gets a boyfriend. You're just like, well, that was a thing, and so you feel like you're gonna miss out, and that is the desperate part of me that I want to eradicate, because it's just so asinine, and I automatically think the worst, and I automatically think I just need to freaking get her before anyone else does. And so, like, be my girlfriend now so I don't have to, worry and shit like that. And there is the problem within me that I hate, and that is, the other half of the reason why I'm unsuccessful with women, especially at this time in my life, which is very, very funny. Now, the good things are is that I actually went on the date. That was a very new experience. It was actually my first date, if that makes sense, outside of a relationship. Like, I've been on a date, I've been on, I've done things with girls who I'm actually in a relationship with, but this was a whole different approach. And, I'm preparing for adulthood here. I'm 17, I turned 18 this year, and it's just kind of mind-blowing, but it's just kind of like, oh my god, dude, I need to grow up when it comes to this kind of shit, because 17 was the first time I went on a date outside a relationship. It's just such a foreign concept to me, and now I feared losing, you know, like her, like, so she's going to go on a date with some other guy and then that's it. And that's all it's going to be. And so I tried to rush things when it came to the actual relationship. Like physically, I respected that, but I didn't really, you know, think second thoughts before I sent that message. I'm just kind of like, well, you know, everything's lost, and you know, she's not that interested, but she was fucking thinking about it, dude. Like, that's the worst part. I'm sorry for cussing so much in this video and just kind of just being kind of angry in general, but this is what happens when you're desperate. This is what happens when you try to just date a girl instantly and, you know, not take things slow. Because, you know, as much as I physically didn't take things slow on that date, mentally I was ready to I was just ready to ask her out and just ready to do this, because I was like, I'll give it a chance. I don't know her completely that well, but you know, what's the worst that could happen? Because I just wanted a relationship, and that is the worst part, and that is something I need to work on. Because when you know, crave a relationship and you're always there and you're always kind of, you know, just not mysterious and shit like that, then the girl's not going to be that interested, because she already has you. She already has you there. She can text you all the time. This is what happens in the friend zone. This is what happens to people who do this. And you know, I wasn't, you know, completely there all the time, but pretty much, you know, I tried to text her as much as possible, even though kind of ignoring the things I had to do and not exclusively focus on my life. And in order to fix this being desperate thing and really wanting a relationship, which it's not bad to want a relationship, but it's bad that that's pretty much my only goal at this point, because I have everything else. And so I just need to fix it by focusing on my life. And that was part of the reason I took my break in general, was just to focus on me, focus on my life. And ironically, I put my attention and focus into this girl way too soon and way too early. I should have just took things slow, just kind of looked at it and just kind of been like, oh, well, you know, this date was fun. Let's do another one, because it was fun. Not just because, oh my God, I need to go on so many dates and just date this girl immediately, because, you know, I mean, things come with time, things come with patience and everything. So I fucked it up, and this is just me admitting that, because, well, I mean, the very first step to solving a problem is admitting that you have a problem. So I really hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope it taught you something useful, kind of an insight to ghostly advice and things that you need to watch out for. So, you know, if a girl tells you you like her, or a girl tells you that she likes you and you can like her back, don't tell her you like her back. Just ask her out. Just fucking do it. Just, you know, out of nowhere, just be like, boom, hey, do you want to, you can either, you know, if she says she likes you already, man, you can, I mean, if you're younger than I am, just ask her out. But if you're older than I am, just go on dates first, man. They're one of those things that I'm going to have to get used to, and I hope to go on more of them. But overall, you guys, I'm just very, very excited that I actually got that experience. I went out there, I tried, and I figured out the exact root of my problems. Because, you know, the looking young thing only goes so far, because after you get their number and they, you know, they seem interested in you and everything, then you have to not come off as desperate. You have to come off as, you know, someone's like, oh, you know, dating, that would be interesting if I like you. I can't just, oh my God, be like, I like you, and just, there are so many things about that. So I really hope you guys enjoy this very, very long commentary about, you know, the time I did goof. Have a great day, and remember the fact that I love you.